Welcome to Podcast Hell. I'm Eric Hellwig. Today on the show, my friends Andrew Yurman, Glaser, and Rob Stern drop by. If you're in LA, I'm at Flappers Comedy on Saturday, October 14th at 9 p.m. Tickets available at erichellwig.com. Join my bands in town on my website so you know when I play in your city. As always, there's two ways to support me and this free podcast. One is writing Podcast Hell a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Another is subscribing to my YouTube page and leaving a comment. Both will get you a shout out on my show. Just so you know I'm not blowing smoke up your tushy, here's a couple. Over on YouTube, at Splurge Valenzuela wrote, "White jokes. Haha, so funny." Glorvin Tattle said, "Limp Bizkit sound delicious." L'executioner commented, "That dog finna murder someone." At Mama3327 penned, "When my husband and I had our first baby, we got a car that had spinners on it. It was from a guy in Jamaica. It also had tinted windows. We would get stares of, ah, cool, until we parked and got out, and then people would look so confused." On Apple Podcasts, at SH20033 titled her review, "Helping the Little Guy." The review reads, "Heading to Staples, 5 stars." Thanks to everyone that wrote in. These comments and reviews, like the Eagles tush push, are helping the pod get to where it needs to go. That's it. Hit the jam.
Girl, we're about to go somewhere odd now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is Podcast Hell.
Welcome to the show. I've got 2 stars of television and film with me today. We have Broad City's Andrew Yurman Glaser. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
Boom!
Well done.
Hell yeah. And then Rob Stern. You've seen his work on Adventure Beast. Did I get it right?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's your fucking credit, dude. You can't get bummed because I said your credit.
Yeah, I just tell people I'm a TV writer.
Yeah, you are a TV writer for Adventure Beast on Netflix. He's like literally. Why are you so mad?
I'm not angry.
You seem mad.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm fine.
All right, cool. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I don't know how we're going to recover from me saying Rob's credit, but I'm hoping we're able to get the vibe back.
I'm even sad now, yeah.
I don't know why. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Not much, dude.
All right. You guys having a good
Credits suck. They suck until you have a good credit.
I was going to say, if you got a good credit,
well, you
they're
have a good
fucking the best.
credit. You have
no,
Broad
mine's
City.
not. What was the phrasing you used for mine?
I said you've seen him in Broad City.
No, you didn't say that.
What
you
did I
said,
say?
like,
From Broad City.
No, known for Broad, like the way, whatever you.
I said you know him from Broad City.
Yeah,
I
like
said,
no one knows me from Broad City.
But you fucking guys don't have to say that. Like, they just hear a show that they know.
But that's why
my parents watched my episode of Broad City, and they're like, "You have to point out where you were."
Okay. When I go on when somebody says, "Oh, from America's Got Talent," I go, "Yeah, I fucking bombed off the show. Huge humiliation. Wanted to kill myself." I just go, "Yeah, that was me." You just fucking accept the credit, and you don't.
I agree. Normally, I agree.
Normally I would just accept it. Well, normally they ask what credits do you want to use, and then I would tell you what to say.
What would you say?
I just list like the networks I've written stuff for, so
nice.
that I'm not. I feel like that sounds better
Seen
than
him on, yeah, or like
than listing a show that people didn't watch, and that's why it didn't get another season.
For me, Broad City's been off the air for so long that it's starting to get like like. What is he on MASH? I don't. What does that mean for like? I've heard of it.
It's like. But how long has it been off? Like 6 years?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, you were one of the main guys on that show, so you should know.
Let's see. When was Broad City off?
Let's not see.
Don't see. Okay.
No, let's not see. Let the people. If you're at home and you're curious, you can hit pause, open up a separate YouTube, and
watch my episode.
Which episode is it?
The one where they're on a boat.
Yeah, it's Citizenship, I think.
He has a legitimately very funny part.
Thank you.
It is very funny. Well delivered.
Written by the great Anthony King.
Who now has a show on Broadway.
Is that true?
Yeah, Gutenberg.
Oh, it's on Broadway?
Yeah.
Cool.
Starred Josh Gad.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a big deal.
It's very cool. I realize it's a mistake to have you both on opposite ends of the table because look at what I had. Look at this.
Yeah, it's weird.
Look at this nonsense.
Yeah.
This is insane.
What?
What I have to do.
Look back and forth?
the back and forth.
You have to look?
I have to look. It's too much to do this, the whole podcast. If one of you was here and there, then we're all in a line. That would make much more sense. We might do this. Because then I just have to do this. This is my only look. Yeah. So, you guys, I've been gone for 2 weeks. 2.5 weeks. Just got back into town. But you guys have been here in LA the whole time. So I want to know what the happenings are. What have you been up to? How's your life been? How the mic's treating you? Let's hear it. I'd like to start with Rob. 3 highlighted points from the last 2 weeks. Begin.
Man, this is the worst question I've ever heard. I don't even know.
Come on, man.
The highlight of the last 2 weeks. I don't know. I guess I got out of a bit of a depression. I'm coming out of it.
That's good.
So that's where I'm at.
You helped my dog.
I helped your dog.
I think we can talk about that on the pod.
Yeah, sure.
Rob saved my dog.
That was this week? Last week?
That was last
week. When you guys were
Meredith and I saved you.
Meredith and Rob saved my dog.
Yeah,
we had a dog sitter issue that you already know about.
Right.
Yeah. But it was good. I told you what my sister said when you were on the phone.
That was very nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She said, you have great friends in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't leave.
Don't leave.
Don't leave.
Don't leave where?
You got great friends here. Don't leave.
Don't leave LA?
Yeah.
Oh, I might leave LA. Yeah. Not like anytime soon.
Yeah.
Are you worried? You're not worried about... Oh, I guess you might be worried about that. We had a friend leave recently.
Everybody has been telling me they're going to leave. It's going to be me and Meredith and whatever new friends we have to make here.
You're leaving?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, when are you leaving?
I don't know. A couple of years or something.
Oh, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, that's nothing to worry about.
I know.
It isn't? That's like, what are we doing here?
Why are we even spending
Yeah,
time
why are we
together?
spending time? I should be making new friends. I got to make friends who are going to stay in LA.
Is that like
He's not wrong.
When someone tells you that they're leaving, is your first instinct like, well, I'm not going to waste time hanging out with you before you
Part
go?
of it. I am legitimately like, well, if you're leaving and Andrew's leaving, then I definitely need to make
I agree.
more
That's why
permanent friends.
I don't befriend anyone with cancer ever because I'm like, I just don't know.
You wait till you get that all clear from the doc,
and then we can talk.
Yeah.
And then come on over.
Yeah, you got a full medical breakdown before you engaged
With anyone.
With anyone,
Yeah.
But I didn't tell you I was leaving.
That's
You
why
guys talk about leaving all the time.
No, we took. Yeah, that's true.
we've talked about it even.
That's true. I guess I am talking about it more, but I haven't been like we're leaving in 2 years.
2 years is a number I made up too, but like vaguely made up. Like we've been talking about it, but
Your
there's no
wife,
set date.
wife would leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're a big easy guy.
That's what my wife is. Yeah.
Until he
that's
saw
why.
the crime statistics.
And listen to you saying that you like spent 2 years in school there and like have regretted it ever
I'm
since.
like a borderline moron. Don't fucking know a cow's a mammal and
You wouldn't
embarrass
recommend-
myself in conversation a lot.
We were looking at what was the crime difference between?
It's like twice as
It's
bad.
like
Twice
it's
as
the
bad as
worst.
LA.
It's the worst in the country.
Is that
was,
true?
Was New Orleans? Yeah.
No, the worst. The one on the rise is Denver.
They're running out of drinking water in like 30 days. Do you know that?
In
New Orleans.
New Orleans?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Literally, like so the salt waters, because it's been so dry, the Mississippi's not flowing.
But the good thing is
fast
there's
enough.
no other like horrific things that could happen in New
Right,
Orleans.
down there?
Yeah,
Yeah. When they
They
rebuilt.
don't have famous horrific tragedies.
Do you guys remember Hurricane Katrina?
No, what was that?
It was this big storm they had down there.
Is that TV show he wrote for? Or?
One season. Hurricane Katrina was a national tragedy, but then they didn't rebuild the levees. Like, you remember the whole thing was like the levees weren't big enough to sustain whatever it was, Category 5
So they
hurricane.
haven't like fixed whatever.
No,
the
they
problem.
rebuilt it so like if that came again, it would completely destroy the city. Like they had a choice. They're like, would you guys like to build it so that can never happen again? And they were like,
Let's
no.
save money.
They were like, no.
Isn't
that crazy?
We have friends who live down there, and like apparently the Army Corps of Engineers came in and did a bunch of work that they guaranteed for like 50 years. And then just recently, because things have gotten so crazy, they came back and were like, hey, we're only guaranteeing that for like 15 years or something. Like basically just like don't count on all that work we did.
The Army Corps of Engineers fucking sucks.
Do they?
Yeah, they actually suck. That's true. It's not the Army. It's a misleading name. It's not.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it's.
I always thought it was like a division of the Army.
It has nothing to do with the Army.
No,
it's
it's
just
like
a
Peace
name.
Corps. Right? I mean, they're just like their own
Well,
thing.
the Peace Corps, yeah, we'll just have the word Corps
Why
in
do
it.
they have the word Army?
I don't
in their
know.
name?
Like if I called this podcast like
Eric's Army?
Uncle Sam's Salute to America, and like I like wore a full like Army fatigues, it wouldn't make me in the Army. I could just pretend.
Sure.
So I feel like it's very good branding because people feel like they're supporting the troops when they give like a contract to the Army Corps of Engineers.
They're a government thing, though, right? They're a government arm, or no?
They
The
have
Army
to be
Corps?
a government.
I don't think they are. I think they're just a private thing.
It is
No,
crazy.
the Army Corps of Engineers.
Army
is
Corps
not
of
private.
Engineers is
Right?
definitely
Nobody-
a government
I want neither you,
organization.
neither
Or look it
you,
up. You don't want us to look it up.
neither you or people watching this should look this up.
agree
I
with
want us all to live not knowing the
think we
true
already
origin.
know.
No, we don't know.
I think we know this is definitively. I wouldn't be surprised if it's part of the Army.
All right, fuck it. Google it. Me and Andrew will talk. Rob will look this up. This is important. I don't like doing this on the podcast, but I feel
Looking
like
stuff up?
no, but I feel like this is important enough
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm going to be vindicated.
I think you're not. It's definitely part of the government, or like
It might be part of the government, but it's not part of the Army.
No, it's definitely not part of the Army.
Well,
I
you're
agree
saying
with that.
definitely, but 5 seconds ago you totally thought it was.
No,
so why are
I
you
don't think I did.
now shifting what you're saying?
think I did.
You totally did.
No, the Army Corps of Engineers. I don't think I did.
Okay.
While he's looking it up, do you want me to share my week?
Yeah, I do.
It's a little longer.
U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is a technical service of the United States Army.
Ha! For real?
Yeah.
Give me that fucking phone.
I don't believe it
Give
either.
me the phone.
You think he's on Wikipedia?
The United States Army Corps of Engineers is an engineer formation of the United States Army that has 3 primary mission areas: engineer, regiment, military construction, and civil work.
Yeah, I'm cutting all of this out of the podcast. This will never be
You
seen.
said, go fuck yourself to them. They are men in uniform who are serving their country.
You insulted them too.
I don't think they are. I think they hire a lot of civilians.
You're a military kid too,
I'm
right?
a military kid.
Yeah, your dad was...
I'm allowed to shit on military branches if I want.
What was your dad?
My dad was Army.
Because your dad was Army, you're allowed to
You don't
shit
even
on
know.
Hey man, I get fucking USAA insurance.
So do I. My dad-
Rob Gronkowski wants to get in on that shit.
Your
You
dad
can't.
served?
My dad served in Vietnam. Where'd your
If
dad
he were
serve?
here, I would hurl something at him.
My dad didn't go overseas. Well, my dad served, but he was in like
Who's
there was like
outranks-
peacetime, so he was in like Haiti.
Which dad outranks which dad?
What did your dad get to?
I don't know.
You don't know what rank your dad was?
I should know, yeah.
You should probably know. My dad was a major.
No, he was definitely your dad, because your dad was also in the Army for way longer.
like
My dad was on
career.
for 20 years.
There's no
20
way
years.
my dad is outranks your dad.
What was your dad?
My dad went to Vietnam. Like he was.
Look, a major is like 7 promotions up.
Yeah, he was. That's definitely higher than what my dad was.
Your dad was like infantry?
That was a
No.
guard.
A guard.
Yeah, guard and a
Guard?
He was a
clerk.
private. He's probably
Private.
a private.
Probably.
I don't think
Private,
guard's a real thing.
What do you mean?
Guard?
Yeah,
What
there's
is
no
it?
guard. You
There's
said
not-
your dad. Wait, hang on. I must have missed that. Did you say your dad was a guard?
No, I didn't mean like he was a. That's his like rank.
That's
I mean,
exactly
that's
what
his
we were
job.
saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aren't they all guards? I don't understand what.
They guard America.
Yeah, they're guarding freedom, man.
No, he was the guard. He was a guard at the base. Like his job was to watch the base.
This is kind
The
of
fuck?
What do you mean?
Why is that?
we were talking about because we were talking about positions, and you went, "My dad was a
I know,
guard."
but all of a sudden he knows he's not even in the fucking conversation.
How do you know? My grandfather was.
Who? Dwight D. Eisenhower?
Yeah, he was a guy in the army.
So I think I've talked on the podcast about my grandfather who was in the German.
My dad was there during the Tet Offensive.
How did Vietnam go for us, Rob?
Great. I got USAA insurance.
It all worked out.
Oh, wait. What is that? That's health insurance? No.
It's health insurance, it's life insurance and auto insurance.
So every insurance, they have home insurance.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, it's home insurance too. Yeah, it's not. But it's not like
I have
health
car
insurance.
through.
You can't get health insurance through USA, can you?
They have something, but I would imagine it's through they'd be like a broker.
And it's really good
Sorry,
insurance?
This is military talk here,
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah, sorry, you want to leave? Buddy?
Hoorah! Hoorah!
It's really good insurance because they have the added pressure of serving military veterans. So it's like,
Which, as everyone knows, we take care of in this country.
well, their
So-
big pitch is that they are. Same with there's like the Navy Credit Union.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Navy
It's like,
Federal.
It's like that's their pitch is like we take care of the military, and they are. I mean, generally, my experience with them has been they're very
USA is great. I had my dad's insurance when I was in high school, and I lightly tapped a lady's bumper in the car, and she had like 2 kids in the back. She got out of the car and she was like, "My kids are injured."
And then USAA sent in SEAL Team 6.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you the story.
They shot
It's
her
not,
in the-
you're not that far away.
Okay.
So she goes, "My kids are hurt," and I look in the backseat. The kids are playing. I'm like, I think they're fine. So I get home and I call my insurance card, and the guy, like, they put me through to this guy who goes, this is not an exaggeration. He goes, I gave him the lady's information. He goes, "I will contact her. If you never hear from me again, that means it's solved." And he hung up the phone. Never heard from him again, and that was the end. I swear to God that's true. That was when I was like 17 years old. Whoever was working USAA was not fucking around.
And what strong-armed this lady into like...
Probably just like, because I told him, I was like, she was saying her kids were hurt and they weren't. I hit her
And
going...
he went and was like, "You're fucking with a service member right now. Is that what you want to do? Like, do you think..."
Probably something like... I mean, he was like very serious on the phone. But I remember
I
like...
would love that job. If I could be like, "You want to be a piece of shit right now?" And
I don't know what Eric's talking about. My experience with USA is they are normal insurance.
But when did you have fucking guard level insurance?
Yeah, I have fucking major
insurance.
Is that right? All right?
It goes by rank.
Yeah, you get the shittiest one.
It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, that makes sense. Every time I call, they say, "Hello, maggot."
Vietnam, they don't even respect that one. They're like,
Ted Offensive, what was he doing there?
Exactly.
Guarding? No, I got a badass guy. I remember the feeling when
Ted served this goddamn country. Shows her goddamn respect.
No, your dad's a great. Your dad's
Pieces of shit. What have you done?
I've done nothing.
Yeah,
me?
Yeah.
Oh, very
Did
little.
you? But was your dad still in the army when you were a kid, or was he already out?
No. He went to the army, served his time in Vietnam, and then came back and went to law school.
Okay. Yeah, my dad was like fully in the army. Like my childhood was being in the army.
Being in the army.
Being in the army now.
And then you didn't join the military, which made your dad
really happy.
great.
He was really into me not doing that.
Wait.
No, he wanted me to be in the army. He used to play this game when we were a kid where he'd put me on his lap and he'd go, "Eric, when you grow up, you can be anything you want to be. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a soldier." And he would tickle me. And then he'd go, "You could be an optician, you could be a soldier." And he would just keep saying soldier over and over again and tickling me. And he would do that.
He tried to Pavlovian dog you until
He really did.
Equating,
To the tickle response
yeah.
to bombs going over my head. I mean, I was like thinking about doing it, but I didn't. I went to high school and was like, I like writing poems.
My dad would have been happy if I went into the military, but he was fine with us not. He was not like pressuring us to do that.
It's good for like if you're struggling. Sometimes people really benefit from the discipline of it. The structure.
I think if you're someone who responds well to structure and being told what to do, it can be a really...
And my dad is that. My dad's like a real...
Like whatever the rules are. Yeah,
a rule follower.
Yeah. My dad likes when there's a rule.
You would have been the worst person in the army.
I would have been kicked out and I would have been in like fucking stockade or some shit.
Yeah, just based on how you react to like my notes on your Instagram reels. I don't think you would like somebody telling you.
It would go a little... There'd be like a... Yeah. I'd be written up a few times.
It'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think I would have excelled.
You would have definitely done well in the army.
Can you kill?
I think I probably could, is the scary
Well, you
part.
definitely have to. if you go into the army.
They're not worried about you killing. They make it
These
so
days?
Have you ever heard that? It's like
People dead. Like, you don't
no,
need
for
to-
real. Yeah, you can watch the videos on YouTube. It's like the way they kill.
You just
they
play
really,
a game of
yeah,
Simon.
They really, but just the way they talk about it really is just
Yeah.
like they're like, all right, down, moving on, like, dude, it's just like,
Yeah, and you're
by
in-
the time you're in that position, you're like, that's what the training's for.
But
to
you know
make
that-
you not think about that.
But that's not all types of military. There's different branches. So you're talking about
What?
Yeah.
There's the
So
Army Corps of
there's like-
Engineers.
There's
The army?
There's the great people of the Army Corps of Engineers. We cannot forget their service
G.I. Joe.
to this great country. No, there's fucking, you got armor, you've got infantry, you've got
Dad's watching.
other ones. I named the one that my dad did. All right, that's the important one.
Armor?
Armor,
What does that mean?
tanks.
That's what he did?
My dad loves tanks.
Huh.
And I also like tanks a lot, too. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're extraordinary.
I got to
weird
ride in them
machines.
sometimes when I was a
really?
kid.
You have to
Really?
ride in a tank?
Yeah,
That's
into
cool.
battle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a perk. That's a perk.
I blew up a Russian.
Was he like a driver? Like, what did he do on tanks?
He was like a commander, a company commander. So
Is he retired now? Or is he?
he's retired.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did 24 years.
Whoa.
So he got out of the army when I was a junior in high school.
And retired at like 45 or 50? What do you?
He retired he would have retired. When do you graduate college? How old are you? 22?
21.
So he was 40. He would have been
Yeah.
42 when he retired.
Whoa.
He went to West Point.
Oh.
He's a full army guy. Yeah.
Wait. At 42, what's he been doing since
The
42?
guy had another job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you get like your retirement pay from the army isn't like enough
Gotcha.
to live
It's
off.
Not after 20 years.
Not if you get divorced and your ex-wife, aka my mom, takes half of it.
Sure.
Which he wasn't thrilled
Which
with.
she's entitled to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm just doing this while I talk about my parents' divorce is fitting. It's now the middle makes a little more sense.
Interesting. Yeah, I would assume at 42, after like if you're that I would assume you don't want to sit around on your ass and do what I want to do. Like to me, I'm like 42, retired sounds amazing.
Yeah, but you're not like retiring like you invested in good stocks. You're just like you have health insurance, and then you may. I don't know what the number is, but it's like if you didn't work and tried to live off that, you would be not living well.
super well. Okay.
Yeah,
Like the point is that at 42 you can get another job and also have all these amazing.
Yeah, I think the real point is that you can retire, like when you actually retire from working, and you'll still have that money. You have that money coming until you're dead.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like that's the real benefit of it. I think is more like because everybody I grew up with like all my dad's friends are 20-year guys, so they all had other jobs after they got out of the army, but they all retired like right when they turned whatever it is, like 62.
I work. Yeah, I feel like cops do that too. They like get their pension.
Dude, the cop stuff is insane.
Yeah.
I really no joke. I mean, regardless of how you feel about them, it is very tempting to become a cop if you don't
Just for the
have an
pension?
idea of what you want to do or just everything they offer. They've great everything. And you really can like retire in like your 50s if you're a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to fist fight homeless people for 15 years.
I mean,
so there's
not even. You got to do it for like 8 years and then go behind a desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we've all seen The Wire. We know what guys we are
know it, yeah.
in The Wire. Are you guys? I feel like I'm like, who's the guy that like does like makes little wooden things in the? You remember?
Yeah, sure.
Wendell?
Fuck,
No,
it's
that's
not Wendell. That's Wendell
No.
Pierce who
That's
plays
Wendell-
Bunk.
Yeah.
But who's the guy? What's his fucking name? And he has a line where he talks about getting fucked over, and he goes, "They got me good."
Yeah.
What's that guy's fucking name?
I'm blanking, but he wrote my favorite and really the only musical I like.
Oh my God, he did. That's crazy. I
Called
forgot.
Five Guys
Yeah.
Named Mo, and
That guy wrote Five Guys Named Mo.
I don't know what that is.
It's a musical that I like.
Lester
It's on-
Freeman.
Yeah, nice. That's the character.
That's the character name. I can't think of the actor's name. He's
The
also
cast of that show is insane. It's so
HBO.
cool. Yeah. But it's
HBO
also
is-
just like the way they ended up casting it too, because they also cast so many local Baltimore people. So like the cast has like that, what's his name? He gets
This whole show is going to be us
Michael
trying
B.
to
Jordan?
remember.
No, not Michael Jordan. No, the guy
He's in
who
it, though.
he's like a music teacher in real life that they like, or he was like a theater teacher in like Baltimore, and they cast him as one of
The drug guys?
he's like a big guy.
Not
He's
the-
physically a big guy, but he also
Oh,
gets
Prop
he's a music-
Joe.
Prop Joe.
I
yes.
got a proposition for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
A great character.
But it's so funny because it's just like these. It's Key and Peele had a great sketch where it was them like being basically in The Wire, and then like they go cut, and like everybody's like British.
There was a Dominic West. I bet a lot of them are British.
Idris Elba.
Well, Idris Elba. That
Idris
blew me
Elba.
away.
Yeah,
I really
totally.
was blown
And so
away. I did not know
Dominique
it.
West is what's his name? The main.
He's the main guy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
McNulty.
I'm blanking on his name, but he's a famous like country folk singer who plays the like recovering white guy, like bigger dude, long hair.
Oh, the guy that's like, you got to make amends,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You got, and he's got,
Steve Earle. Do you guys know Steve Earle?
he's
No.
the country music star.
Yeah, he's like a well known. I mean, like I wouldn't call him well.
He
I'd
can't
call
be
him-
that well known.
Oh, he's like I would say like super well known country musician, and his son Justin Towns Earle also a well respected musician.
Okay.
Who's dead now, but anyway, Steve Earle is great.
Yeah.
This is where we listen to an album and from start to finish, right?
Let's throw it on.
Great.
Look, my wife always tells me if I start talking about The Wire in whatever conversation I'm in, I've gone too far. Like it's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a pleasant Wire conversation.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah.
No, it's
I mean, even though it was the fourth one I've had today, it was not that bad.
so
right?
really, you had other Wire
How
conversations?
old is it? That show?
That show?
It ended in 2008.
You know what I've been telling people? I watch. Oh, so they're releasing Mean Girls apparently on TikTok, the full movie.
What?
Yeah, it's wild.
I fucking hate that.
I know, but it's something I'm saying. It's like I watch clips of The Sopranos all the time. I watch it like I would say like I don't know how many hours a week. I probably watch clips of The Sopranos
On what? I don't understand. Like what that
on YouTube. On
So you go on YouTube and you type in clips.
well, now
of
it just
Sopranos?
feeds.
Why
Them.
are
Now
you-
it just feeds them to me.
Why are you talking about this like it's some crazy thing?
Yeah.
All I do is go to YouTube and
watch
type in
clips of The
clips
Wire.
of my favorite
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I-
so you go to
No,
YouTube.
this is something I don't
didn't
do,
know?
and
But I
can't
tell everybody,
relate to.
if you like The Sopranos, you got to look at the videos and then read the comments. Sopranos comments, YouTube comments in particular, are like the greatest group of guys. It's like the same people commenting under each one. It's a bunch of inside jokes. It's very, very funny. It's a good time.
There's no way it's a good time.
It can't be a good time. It's got to be.
It's something that I think is a good time.
It's got to be
I
as
should
bad a
clarify.
time as the blog I hang out on, which is an Army football blog for West Point grads, where they just complain about how woke West Point is now and never talk about football.
I think it's legitimately
It's not that
funny.
fun.
What is?
I don't know. There's some.
Your
There's
guys?
there's like really funny people commenting under Sopranos videos.
I want to.
Can you
We
give
have
me
to.
an
We have
example of a comment?
Andrew. We have to set a boundary here. You're
What?
not. You can't go Google it.
I won't.
You can't.
But after the podcast, I will.
After the podcast,
I'll
yeah.
send
but
you a clip.
We had one Googleable item and we used it up way too soon
Yeah.
on that fucking Army Corps of Engineers bullshit.
It was
We did
such a
use
great
it-
one to use it on though, because you were so wrong.
I
was-
It's
you were
insane.
wrong.
I was
It's
wrong.
Insane. Yeah.
I want to. It will be cut.
You gonna cut it?
I'm cutting that. I don't know. It's too humiliating to be that wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I went pretty
You
hard.
You should cut it just so that every time we bring it back up throughout the podcast, it's really confusing. Like,
the last time I had
The Army
like,
Corps of Engineers that we argued about
all
earlier.
right, I'm not going to cut it. It's fine. You don't have to do that. Last time we were here, that's what happened between you and Brad Stoll.
That was
Is
great.
there was a joke?
was a
I
good
can't even
time.
remember what you fucking said. But then you guys
Oh,
kept,
not only the joke came true is what it was.
don't even bring it up. Don't even bring it up. I don't even remember. Oh, I fucking do remember. Don't bring it up. He's not watching. But don't bring it up. But you can't. But they kept they were like they got in a fight on the podcast, an actual fight.
right?
It's fucked up.
I'll tell you after.
It was a fucked up joke, and
he made a fucked up joke to Brad.
It's even more fucked up now.
Yes, he made a fucked up joke to Brad, and Brad was like, "You have to cut that."
Yeah.
And I was like, I fucking hate cutting around shit on my podcast. And then every 10 minutes for the rest of the fucking podcast, somebody else brought it up. So I had to like piece together the episode around this joke so that no reference to the joke was in. And it was so annoying. And it made me go like, maybe I'll never again
edit.
No, maybe I'll never have multiple multiple people on. Because it makes it harder if somebody goes like, "Oh, I'm a little sensitive about that thing," and then you're like, "Well, what if it came up?"
You got to be clear about that, like in the beginning. Like, don't say something you want.
Yeah, that's a great vibe before you start.
No, I mean, it's what I said. I mean, it's the work of running a podcast is you have to be willing to cut stuff. No, because you're right. You have to be willing to cut stuff. Because otherwise, people just don't want to do the podcast.
I'm going to text you a laundry list of things after this.
Understandable to not want to do it, but have to do it. But you don't tell people before you start, don't say anything you regret.
Yeah, because that's not good.
Yeah, then the podcast starts and people are like, I like whatever they're saying on the news. Yeah. And you're like, this fucking, people don't come in here with their Italian slurs.
Are you looking at me like I'm...
No, I was looking at both of you. I moved back to the center, so I have to do this again. I want to talk more about the Army.
Great.
Or we don't have to. I don't know.
Yeah, talk more about it. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I had a funny story.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say it's funny because now it won't be funny.
Okay.
But it was like both my grandfathers were in World War II.
Yeah.
My French grandfather was on the correct side. My German grandfather was drafted into the German army. Long story. He's not a Nazi. Whatever. They would tell stories when they would get together.
That's exactly what a Nazi would say.
It's true. It's actually very correct. So
drafted into the German army, he was literally a Nazi, though, right?
No, Nazi would have been part of like the Nazi Party, which was like a political party, or if you were in the SS, which was.
But he wore a uniform.
Yes, he wore a uniform.
According to the Americans, was he a Nazi?
Yeah, probably. You probably would have said.
I just read an interesting article about people who collect Nazi memorabilia.
Isn't it like illegal to do that?
No, it's perfectly legal.
You can have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like it was like X hundreds of millions of dollars a year is like exchanged in Nazi. It's like, it was really interesting.
Well, because as you said, the longer we get away from it, the more it'll be.
People are like, ooh.
Yeah, it'll be like a thing that's like.
The uniforms were sharp.
Yeah.
I'm not behind.
I went to Italy. It's like you're walking around and looking at like, this is from when they sacked the blankety blank,
right.
Which is
like
if
cool.
if I was back in 1100 BC,
if you were the
like
blankety
the horrors
blank
of the time,
right?
It'd be like, wow, you're really celebrating that.
This is where we drown
horrific.
This is where we drown the sluts.
Yeah. I mean, for
like
real,
Iron Maiden.
They're not even joking. They really do have like a thing that they're like, this is where we kept the virgins, and they would like burn them alive or some shit. And you're just like, you're just like, it's history.
But that's also, Europe is different because Europe is older than us, so they're not as like juvenile with a lot of that stuff. So they understand, like, if you're looking at a castle in Europe, it's been there for 800 years. So there's been like murders and
these are
torturous,
people who have,
the worst things in the world happened in every building in Europe because they've been around forever.
Well, like our as Americans, we're used to being like, I can trace back to, maybe 200 years in a family, but it's like for them, it's like there's people who could trace back like 1,000 years or more. Like,
it's wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
Sorry.
So this was the story. Was like anyway. When my grandfathers would get together, they were like thick as thieves. And they would tell stories and blah blah blah. And my grandfather's stories that was German, his stories would always be the most fucking intense stories ever. They'd be stories about like being 15 years old when like Hitler started drafting his brothers, and like when he got wounded at Normandy, like these insane stories that you can't believe a person's telling you he was there for. And then my grandfather was a chef. So his stories would literally be about like making oatmeal for soldiers. And he would try to like battle my German grandfather with his stories, and we'd be like, dude, Grandpa, your stories are fucking awful in comparison to what he's talking about. But they would fucking go back and forth all the time.
Can't believe they got along.
Yeah, they did.
That's like a television show.
Maybe it will be.
Write that.
I think people that were, especially like if you were a kid and not like an officer in World War II, I think people that were in it understand
that you got drafted to whatever country you were in.
The end of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah,
you watch that where like they're fighting and then they just stop and they look at each other and they're both covered in mud and it's like they're realizing they're just fighting another kid. I'm not gonna ruin the ending. That's right at the end of the movie. I just fucking ruined the ending.
I've seen it.
Okay, you watched the new one?
Seen it, so you ruined it for me and whoever else is listening to it.
It's so fucking... But you know what happens after that?
Yes.
All right, don't say it.
But that's the whole point of the movie.
Right.
I think.
I remember loving the book I read it in maybe middle school or high school and really dug it.
Dark read for middle school.
I guess I don't... You know the scariest part to me of that book? They describe him having to use the latrine, and it's just a series of shitters like in a row with no partitions or anything. That terrified me the most as a kid. I was like,
but that's how the Army, like it used to be. I don't know if they still are that way, but like the Army, it used to be that was the way the bathrooms were set up. Like when you join the Army, I'm talking like even like in like the 80s at least. I don't know. Yeah, it's still like
I'm
that.
just like touching your leg because we're sitting next to
You're
each other.
You're literally like there's nothing between you and the guy next to you taking a crap. Yeah,
that was the scariest part of the book for you.
Yes.
Yeah. The scariest part of the book for me was every single character dying, and then the whole thing about how it's useless.
Yeah, it was a good book. It's
a great book. Yeah, but do you ever like think back on some of those books and you're like, it seems weird I was reading this when I was 12,
totally,
or 11. You're reading like the Red Badge of Courage.
Yeah,
where
it's a weird thing where it's like you don't. It feels like it almost should be more like a psychological conversation about certain books, like when you're reading.
Dude, Charles Dickens at 11? Like, what is the point? Do you know what I mean?
Wait, what happens in... Oh, you're just talking like you can't understand the concepts.
Yeah, like what Siddhartha? Did you like? It's like what? Who is this for?
You read Siddhartha? I didn't read that.
Like we read it in English class. Like I didn't understand or appreciate any of it. And it's like, oh, I'm sure there's like a lot of for a 30-year-old who's like lived some life. I'm sure Siddhartha is great. You know what I mean? It's just
that's what my wife always says that about Shakespeare. She's like, they don't teach Shakespeare right. You got to get up off your feet. You got to live in the fucking... I don't agree with her, but she has a very strong opinion that it's like a lot of that stuff doesn't get taught the right way where you have to like present it in a way that the kid can get the point.
I won't say who, but there's someone I know who's a teacher who is...
Name him.
No, I don't want... whatever.
Name the...
Names.
No, name.
I can just not tell this if you guys don't want me to tell it.
No, tell us the story.
It's not... But it's just they're implementing AI in high schools and allowing students to use it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Why? It's like Wikipedia. Like I was in the generation like of like where Wikipedia. There was a hot minute they were like, you can't use Wikipedia, and then now clearly like everyone's using. Yeah, Wikipedia.
But it's the like we're just. My point is, it's like it's weird that people are like what they're taught, and it's like I don't know what you're going to teach them if this is.
You're going to teach them how to like interact with. I mean, it's critical thinking. It's the same thing like we should have been taught, right? Which is like, how do you interact with AI? It's like, yeah, you can...
It's not critical thinking to go like...
That's not correct. Yeah, no, critical thinking would be to use AI and then be like, but now ask where the AI got that information.
Right.
And let's find out if there's...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're probably using it to be like...
They're literally going to be like, give me... You can source AI as your source.
And so you just... Wild. So you're just writing a paper and you go... The Catcher in the Rye, 200 words summary.
Make it original.
And it goes, I don't know. I never read The Catcher in the Rye. What happens in that book?
Holden Caulfield's like an incel who's basically like mad at the world and
an incel.
did like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Plays hooky from school or some shit. I forgot.
Ish.
Good book.
Again,
No, it really
too
isn't.
young.
He was like, it's just him.
I didn't
It's like
I-
it's like ruminations on how much he hates society,
Yeah.
basically.
Did you hear? You remember the Giving Tree?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the author wrote a new Giving Tree.
Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, it's called.
It's called like Now There's Boundaries, and the tree's like, I would prefer if you don't take my leaves because I need those to be the best version of myself.
Shel Silverstein.
it's called the
is dead,
woke
isn't he?
tree.
It's called the woke.
Can I look up a second thing? I don't believe that.
It's I've already been wrong once, so we're just gonna proceed as if what I'm saying is true.
Okay.
This is something that
I thought he died a while ago.
Shel Silverstein.
Yeah.
Michelle. Are you saying Michelle?
Shell.
Shell.
Shell Silverstein.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Okay. Well, the book does suck.
He's a crazy looking dude too. Have you ever
Well,
seen
he
it?
takes like crazy photos
And then
for,
puts
like,
them
the
on
back
those
of his
children's
photo. I
books.
know.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
Like this book,
Have you ever
book, and then
seen
you look
him?
at the
No.
back.
Oh, really?
Did he read?
Where the sidewalk ends, or
It's just like the way the
light
photos
in the
are
attic?
shot. He looks like he's like a crazy bearded man.
They're like these children's poem books, and then on the back there's a black and white picture of an insane man, and like it's like you're like, what?
It's like clearly
great
on purpose.
Yeah, totally.
It's
It's
like
It's a little.
tongue-in-cheek.
It's a little funny.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
just
I can
like,
get
it's
behind
like,
that.
He's very
it's like,
funny.
You know, you're taking a photo for like kids and to take like very.
like crazy one.
Yeah.
I like Shel Silverstein.
Who is the? You sent me a kids person to look at, like a kids content creator.
Oh, Blippi.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't watch it for longer than like 3
I
minutes.
was talking about like there's Meredith and I might like try and make some kids content and just test and see if we could find, because you just whatever would work. But these guys are making so much money and it's insane. And one of them is this guy Blippi.
I've heard of Blippi.
Who is, there's a video which I've seen before he was this kid's, and he's like
Right.
he's like got $100 million or something at this point. He's
But
so
he's shit in
successful.
somebody's mouth.
He shit on his friend, not his mouth. He does. You remember the Harlem Shake videos? I don't know if you remember this meme thing, but it was basically like you'd be dancing to the Harlem beat that's like the Harlem Shake beat, and then it would like switch up, and then you would switch up what you were doing. So it'd be something kind of like us sitting around here, and then the music switches up, and all of a sudden you're in a crazy suit. I'm like got my shirt off, and I'm like we're all just dancing in different parts of the room. So he did that, but it's him sitting on the toilet, going like, and then the music does the shift, and all of a sudden he's standing on the toilet with his ass aiming out, and his friend is on the floor of the bathroom. he like impressively stream of shit onto his friend.
Wait, you watch it? You watch shit come out of his asshole?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where can you watch this?
I found it by going to like Reddit, and like I had to like do a bit sleuthing. It wasn't too hard. It was there's like you can find it. It's on the internet, but you just
I
have
think
to
I
do
know
like
that,
a
and he's
Google.
since been like that was a mistake.
Oh yeah, he's like but it is really funny because so they keep dancing after he does it, and his friend is like on the ground.
You can find a.
His friend. So they keep
do you mean
dancing.
it's really
and
funny?
Then his friend.
What is that?
But before the end of the video, you hear his friend go.
It's first off, the places you had to go on the internet to find this are not places.
Right? Dark web.
I'd be very worried.
You know how
You'd
many
have to watch-
how many beheading
like
videos he had to
it's like
scroll
you-
past?
you skip past-
You skip past like two like soldiers getting their
You
dicks
can
cut
find it in
off.
like 2 Google searches.
You
You,
get,
guys
like-
act like
Is
the
that a
web
thing?
is
Is
like.
that a video
you,
thing?
you get Bud Dwyer blowing his head off, and then you get to Blippi taking a shit on his friend.
Yeah, I laughed very hard. I actually thought it was very funny, but it is absolutely.
You watched a literal man take a literal shit on
Yeah.
another man,
Yeah, I
and you're
thought
like,
it-
that's good comedy.
Yeah, it made me laugh. Well, it's also knowing that he's Blippi is really funny. It's like very funny. His children.
This is why I'm moving.
Yo,
I can't do that. I
like-
can't compete with this.
If anybody did that to me,
To what?
shit on me.
No, his friend's like a willing participant. He doesn't like surprise him with the shit. That's what's it's crazy.
What kind of dude would, for a comedy video, let someone shit on him?
I don't know.
I would respect him more if it was like Blippi just did this.
It's clearly
and then the end of the video is him uppercutting Blippi in like onto the top of the toilet.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be like much more. He'd be like, there's fucking shit. Like that would be a great ending to the video.
What do you think he ate to prep for that? They're like,
I don't know. It was like, yeah, it was
projectile shit.
It was definitely like he must have
eaten a ton and held it as long as he could.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild.
And then he's like, dude, we gotta film now.
Hey, you know what? As I've thought about this more, it's pretty funny.
It's really funny. Look, it's funny. It's funny.
No, thinking of the prep for it is funny.
Well, he's saying
Yeah.
the thing is he was doing it to be like Jackass. Like it's like the Jackass humor of like it's so fucked up. It's funny, but it's extra funny because he's Blippi. It'd be like if you found out that like there was a video of like Barney sucking somebody's dick or something. It'd be like, what the fuck?
Some people would be horrified by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they maybe the guy who played Barney could have a video of sucking somebody's dick, but they wouldn't, you can't like borrow the costume to take it home. So I don't think that could ever exist.
Yeah.
Like the official Barney.
But it would be so
Blue's
much funnier
Clues
if
guy.
it was.
What did Blue's Clues guy do?
I'm saying,
No, he didn't do it.
I'm just saying, like that he could do that.
He could.
He's not in a costume.
He could suck a dick.
Yeah.
But if you saw Barney sucking somebody's dick on you'd just be
It
like,
wouldn't be upsetting
it's
if
a
the
Halloween.
Blues
Sucking
Clues
a
guy
dick's
was
not
sucking
bad.
a dick. I'm saying if Barney was sucking.
You've got to add sucking a dick in itself.
Yeah,
is not,
no, it's Barney.
He's got to be.
It's got to be look like Barney is sucking a dick.
I guess.
But even that, I guess, wouldn't be bad. It's just
I guess it
two
could
grown men having a good time.
Yeah, I mean,
he's gotta
I mean,
be-
is it bad that Blippi took a shit on a willing participant?
no,
Yeah.
it's not bad. And when you put it in the terms of Jackass, I'm like, okay, I guess I can understand that.
It's very. I mean,
he's not-
I was legitimately. I was just curious because I was like, they keep saying this, but they said it. Like, I was like, where would he have posted this if it's
Yeah.
like that? And then I guess he was able to post it on YouTube back in the day.
Yeah, totally.
YouTube used to be a fucking wild west.
Yes.
You could post
Yeah.
anything on YouTube.
That's where I've seen whatever fucking
Yeah,
death
like
videos I've
the
seen.
death videos used to just be there.
Yeah.
It was, you didn't have to do the whole go to Reddit and find the live wire or whatever fucking
Right.
weird streamer lets you play all that shit.
See, this is a world
Dark web.
Yeah.
This isn't real dark web. This is
No,
just
this is like teenager dark
Do
web.
you know that the dark web is supposedly run by the government? That they need it to exist in order to pass
money?
to pass like untraceable communications with people. So that's why they still allow the dark web to exist, because that's what we're just not Googling stuff. So
I don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
no, like they like it's it.
I like this. This is old school conversation. I have a joke about it.
Yes.
What's the joke?
I say like I was just like, I miss the days when you could sit around and one of you would just be like, George Washington was, I think, 7'3", and then we just like argue about that for 3 hours, and that would be the whole night. Yeah, and it's like there's no way any of us will find out. We're not going to
Yeah.
the library.
Or you just go like, yeah, like what? The lead singer of that band, I think they went to school at my high school.
Yeah, and then there was that. There was the kid who would make everything up, and back in the day, it was like, there's no fun.
Kid's fucking making it up.
Yeah.
I used to do some exaggerating.
I feel like every school had a kid, at least when I was a kid, every school had a kid who had either met Michael Jordan or like Michael Jackson. Those were like the two. It was like everybody had like somebody who had like somehow,
Well, you could tell if they were lying about meeting Michael Jackson if they were walking around
If they
holding
were
their
proud of it.
holding their asshole in pain. You watch
No
that?
evidence, no evidence, no evidence.
No evidence of what? Why are we protecting the estate of Michael Jackson?
Unsubstantiated.
I don't know, man. Did you watch the fucking documentary?
Have you listened to Thriller?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty fucking good.
That's the
good
Bill.
time.
That's the Bill Maher joke. You're doing the Bill Maher bit.
Can you delete that?
No.
No.
Because you hate Bill Maher? Because
Everything about it.
No, it's
I don't hate Bill Maher, but I don't want to share his jokes. I feel like that's not a good.
Not a good look these days.
Yeah. No, not these days.
I'm smart. You're dumb.
I just don't find. I just generally don't find him that funny.
I liked him. I don't know.
You know what
Kyle
he is funny to me in the sense of like I will watch his podcast and he's somebody who's like his behavior is funny to me.
Yeah, he's the smarmiest fucking dude on the planet.
But I think people know that about. I think like
He's been doing that for
that's his
25
thing.
years now, right? Like
How do you know Bill Maher's jokes?
Longer than that.
Do you know Bill Maher's jokes?
I know Bill Maher's jokes.
But I've listened to
He's got
him a bunch.
he's got a joke about like we over prioritize safety. We think about kids too much. No one's justifying. It's basically like a Thriller joke. He's like, no one's justifying raping kids, but how many dead kids? But how many dead kids is Thriller worth? 4. And he just starts naming how many kids would have to die until you would give away the feeling of Thriller.
Yeah,
and it's like you get pretty high. Like it is a good album. It's a classic Bill Maher joke.
Fuck.
Just made me think of David Cross for some reason. Were you guys David Cross?
Very similar to me.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I think
I love David Cross.
David Cross.
I love
David Cross stand up. Bill Maher political thing to me is like
but
two sides of the same coin.
David Cross does like gets wacky. Which is like
Yes.
what makes like when I think of David Cross, I understand what you're saying. Like maybe political spectrum they align sometimes, but like David Cross also will get really wacky with his comedy.
Cross the line back into insanity politically to in a wacky like I really liked him. If that makes sense, does that make sense?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. Like it was like more absurdist, and Bill Maher's more just
right.
like this is my actual thing I think, and a joke about it. And for some reason, like when it's I'm not a. I actually
It's not even that. It's Bill Maher's. Bill Maher to me is too rote. Is what I would describe it.
Rote.
It feels like I know that when the punchline's coming, and it feels.
It's not loose enough.
It's not loose enough. It doesn't feel like it feels like a team of writers helped write this, or it feels like he went over it a million times.
Yeah, but he's also like a 67-year-old comic. You can tell when Seinfeld's jokes are coming too. Like that's just the style they had. Like when you watch his show, he's doing like a Johnny Carson impression.
I guess you haven't seen Seinfeld's new stand-up.
I watched like the last special he put out on Netflix.
That was like the loosest I've ever seen.
But he's still got like
He
traditional.
had all those trans jokes and stuff. It's fucking crazy.
all the trans. And then he cried about some of his trauma halfway through. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. It's a new side of
Is that
Seinfeld.
after the 20 minutes on Pop-Tarts?
Yes,
or?
yeah. Then he does Pop-Tarts, which is clearly like a Jim Gaffigan derivative bit, but he makes it his own. Yeah.
Seinfeld. I mean, look, that's like a whole.
You a Carlin guy or no?
A what?
Carlin?
I'm not a Carlin guy, but I wonder if I rewatched it now, if I could like it more.
Carlin gets me too worked up. Like he's great. He's a brilliant dude, but the comedy is funny, but he ends up saying stuff that's too upsetting that I get more worked up and angry about than I do like.
He's my favorite.
laugh.
You know what it feels.
He's a brilliant comedian, like great joke writer, but like it is a thing where it's like, especially his later stuff is just like, you know, I mean, when he's saying like they don't give a fuck about you, don't. It's like that's not even a joke at that point. That's me literally being like, I am ready to fucking
Yeah,
but he's got jokes galore.
He's great.
throughout.
he's got joke. He has jokes, and like he's funny.
Yeah.
But there's also times where he's like, I go with the flow. My name is Mo. And I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. Like that part of the performance where it's like, look at the old man and how much he memorized. I hate.
Oh, see,
that part, I go, this is not funny. This is becoming like beatnik fucking poetry shit that I would see in the Lower East Side in the 60s and snap my fingers to.
I don't mind that as like a 3-minute opener to his hour. Sometimes I'm like, he just fucking, he wrote. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that is like impressive or a part of the. I don't know.
I mean, it's impressive. So
I know what you mean.
It's impressive. So is building a house. I don't want to see a dude doing a comedy special and then like sanding cedar for 3 minutes.
100% want to see that.
Who's your favorite house builder?
What are you kidding? Are you wait? Time out.
My brother-in-law.
He said he doesn't want to see a guy telling jokes while building a house. Are you kidding me? Gets on stage,
just really
and builds
taking
a
his
house
time,
on a
putting like a
stage?
primer on it.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, actually, as I'm saying this, I'm remembering our friend Joe Welke, former comedian. Now he's
a pole dancer.
He's a pole dancer.
Where is he?
MC.
He does pole dancing. He's like circus pole dancing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Cirque du Soleil. But while he was
Is he not in LA anymore?
He is in LA.
He's in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when he was doing comedy, I'd be like, you should do comedy while
Well, that's what
you're
we said.
doing your aerial
we
stuff.
We said he should do trapeze. He was doing trapeze at the time. I was like, you got to do the trapeze tell a joke and then just hanging from a trapeze. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm saying like
it's
that,
TikTok,
but that is way more impressive to me than memorizing a poem.
Sure.
It's just not. It's just for me. Like
I'm not
for whatever reason, creatively, he turns me off. I'm not.
I get what you're saying, but I would also like not I get that that's a part of his comedy, but I would not be like, oh yeah, George Carlin, the guy who just like recites a bunch of like goofy rhymes, like that's not his
I know he's a genius or whatever.
Whatever, it doesn't.
I gotta rewatch. I gotta rewatch it, man. I was analyzing if I like George Carlin. I was really into Dane Cook, so I have to admit, I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, very polar opposite of what. I don't know. What I'm saying
I see a lot
is
of Dane Cook and George Carlin.
George Carlin. No, what I'm saying, George Carlin is very funny, but there will be moments where he gets you very worked up.
Or where you're like, holy fuck, that's a good point.
That's what I'm saying.
Like over a laugh.
That's what I'm saying.
Where you're
it's like
that's what I love about him.
Yeah, I love it, but it's also like that's not what I want when I turn on a comedy special.
Interesting.
and that's
that
like-
is what I want.
and
I'm
I
like
also-
someone to get me to think something different.
Yeah, but I also feel like
I love it. It's not what I don't hate. It's just not. There's comedies that there's comedians I put on because I legitimately am looking to laugh.
Sure,
and he is not one of them.
Interesting.
But I still really like him.
Yeah,
I hear you.
I feel like I've soured on. That's why, like, if I go back to Carlin now, I'm like, I might not like it because I get annoyed when I think comics are preachy on stage. And he was, and
Here's the
he,
thing,
now he
he
might
was
have been
unique.
Well, he was
for
doing
20 years, and then
Everyone started.
well, and then what's his name came out, and that was like the tipping point.
He wasn't. I mean, Pryor was doing what he was doing. No,
but he wasn't doing like.
Pryor was doing that, but then he'd tell like fucking hilarious jokes and stories.
Pryor told,
I mean,
like-
it's similar, I guess, but George Carlin was political. I would never say that Richard Pryor's stand-up was like 100% political. He made political
he
statements.
was socially political. Yeah, like
yeah, but not on
that's not
stage.
the-
He's telling story. He's telling funny ass stories.
That's not the same thing, man. Like
I
the people who really stood apart as like political comics, George Carlin and fucking Bill Maher. Like when those guys started doing
we're
that,
forgetting what's his
Lenny
name
Bruce?
in the 90s. No, there's a guy in the 90s. Remember he died
the guy that
died very young. Very good comic.
the guy
Greg
that
Giraldo.
no,
No. He was super
he's
political.
like a
He
writer
died-
guy.
No, he was a super political guy. He like feel shitty forgetting his name.
Lester
He's a
Freeman.
brilliant guy. He deserves recognition.
Oh.
I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. It's annoying.
Oh, the Green Power Ranger.
I love the Green Power Ranger.
Green Power Ranger.
A little rhymey at times, but he's good.
The Green Power Ranger was the White Power Ranger, and then eventually was like the Gold Power Ranger.
Why
at
were
a
they
later-
changing those colors?
It's the same guy. He just changed his. He just became a more powerful Ranger at some point.
They're part of the army, right?
Our Army Corps engineers, the Power Rangers. Oh yeah, I watched a lot of that shit.
We lost you
That-
until you're remembering this guy's name.
Yeah,
You
it
gotta-
doesn't know I can't remember his name.
You gotta let it go.
I'll let it go.
We're living in a.
Now I'm trying to think of it.
This podcast brings us back to a world where we
I want
don't
to say his first name is Bill, but I might be
Bill
wrong.
Hicks.
Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. That's exactly what it is. Thank you so much, buddy. Yeah.
Was Bill Hicks?
Bill Hicks was the tipping point because after Bill Hicks, there was a bunch of people trying to do the like.
I fucking love Bill
saying-
Hicks.
Bill
Yeah,
Hicks
he
was-
was brilliant.
Bill
His
Hicks,
half-
Bill Hicks
his-
was a cunt. All right, the way he went after Leno, everybody like lionizes that as being like, look how brave it is.
What do you do? I
to
don't
shit on somebody that everybody shits on? I felt it was
No, he was like the first guy to like shit on.
no, dude.
Yeah.
His HBO half hour is like half hour of my like. I think
Very
it's the
funny.
best fucking
Very
comedy
funny.
out
But
there.
people after him became he to me was the impetus of the becoming like like I'm more than just a comedian. Like the Simpsons
Sure.
making fun of it with remember Krusty the Clown does stand up and then he gets really angry, slick back hair. Like
That's like Kinnison though more.
no,
No,
because he's like ripping on like. He's like I don't know. I think it's like supposed to be a mixture of like Bill Hicks and George
Interesting.
Carlin and like like this like,
sure.
Yeah.
like saying very serious stuff because that's why like the joke at the end he's like all political and angry and then he does the Durango. He's like yeah, these guys really ticking me off. You know what doesn't tick me off? The Durango, like, and then it's like an ad for a car. People realize he sold out. Simpsons, big fan. You?
No. Wasn't allowed to watch it.
Stop it.
Wasn't allowed to watch
That
it.
sucks, dude.
Yeah, I know. I've watched episodes
Military
since.
dad. I liked your dad until just now.
I don't know if it was him or my mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
My parents were like that for a long time, and then
Really?
they watched it. My dad was like, "This is the greatest show ever," and now like he's a bigger Simpsons fan than I am.
I remember I saw the Simpsons movie, and I
Okay.
thought it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
it was
movie's
fine.
okay, but
I've seen like I can remember like the Mary Poppins episode where she goes into a fucking airplane at the end or
Yeah, it's
moments
really
like that
funny.
that
Yeah.
my friends have shown me.
Yeah.
Remember
you must have
Lucas
lost it.
when I lived with
me
Luke.
and Lucas would sit and
Nice.
quote Simpsons all the time.
So
It's
when,
like-
I think when we lived in Harlem, he might have had a DVD or something, and so I think I watched like seasons 5 or 6. I was like, oh, it's
good
funny.
seasons, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I also like I have a weird thing where I struggle like only watching a season of a show. I'm like, oh well, now I have to do when shows
many with the Simpsons.
when it's a show like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll never do it because it's
I think
I'll always
I
feel
think the consensus is watch up through season 11, and that's
Yeah, 11
that's like that.
yeah, or even like
I
8,
enjoyed
yeah, even
I
10.
enjoyed.
But what happened?
I enjoyed after
What-
season 11.
what
Writers shifted, like
but what-
Conan
but
style.
what-
Here's what happened. The show became massively successful. Everybody who worked on it went on to do all these different things. And then even the brilliant minds on it became less, like, it clearly lost importance to them. They'd already made what many consider to be the best comedy ever.
Plus, it was like self.
It just seems weird that would happen in specifically season 12.
Well,
like
what's
you watch
happening,
season
you can
11,
watch it.
it's
you
great.
watch it like from like the seasons everybody rave
it's-
about.
it's not
People
that-
say
yeah.
it's like 4 through 7 are like the like
But like Monorail is like season 2 or 3.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like there's like classics from earlier outside that range.
and I
that
love
he's
season.
talking
I love
about.
season 1. It's just a different show. Season 1 is like very
Right,
heartwarming
totally.
and sweet.
Totally.
But what you can see happening, what's really crazy about watching The Simpsons is as it keeps going, you can feel that the writers are definitely like the writing staff is definitely becoming more nepotistic and like hiring their friends. Like you look at the original staff and it's like Conan and just these amazing writers who clearly just were like some of the funniest people. And then like, I don't know, it's so hard to describe, but it just really, there's like a point where the characters have shifted so much from what they were. It's wild. I mean, Homer became like a psychopath. He's
Yeah.
like, doesn't.
Oh, see, I think he starts out a crazier. Like he is like early episodes. He is like a bad father. Like he's doing bad.
But the early episodes are more real. He's supposed to be like a struggling father. Like
No. He's a terrible father early on. Like he does things that you're like, what are you doing? Like you can't. Whatever. Like
Examples.
Well, like chokes his kid and like
exactly. Like,
he's like drunk all the time.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
no, but
You
it's
can't
very
forget about your kid in the car while you're at the bar.
But
or
the
something.
first,
Like,
but the first like seasons, there's a heartwarmingness to it. It's a man like actually struggling,
Trying,
in
so-
1989. First of
Right.
all, like it's like a different. Not that excuses, but I'm just saying like.
Oh,
the
you
reason
choke your
people
kids.
relate
You
it-
choke your kids in 1989.
I'm just saying, like, it was a time when people definitely related to Homer and liked him because it was funny that this guy is being closer to, like, what a shitty dad is like. Someone who's, like, exhausted, angry, and drunk all the time. And then, like, he becomes much more of a comic character after season 2, towards the end of season 2, and then he becomes like the star of the show. I mean, Bart was considered the star for a while, but it really is Homer at that point, like where he's just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But then now like after like season probably like 15 or something was when I first started being like, this is like he's like, he does stuff that you're just like, the only reason he would do that is because a writer was like, it would be funny to see Homer do this. And it's like, that's not what the show used to be.
They so many episodes deep too. I feel like they started like at certain points like got like self-referential back to that like weird things that they had done years ago, and it was like it's weird. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I mean, you can't. There are only so many ideas within a world, right? Or like, only so many like time. I think they just used up a ton of ideas that it's like, okay, we have to get insane now.
Well, it becomes a thing where it's like it's. I mean, the main thing to me is that all the characters like changed so much with no reason. Like it doesn't make sense why it's like they're different. People still watch it though. I mean, it's it's 33rd right. or whatever. I don't know how many seasons. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch.
I mean, the actors
I don't watch that show.
The actors are so old, and you can hear it in their voice. Have you heard the French Marge though?
No.
It's amazing.
Why?
It's just insane what their choice for Marge was like. She's just, the way she screams is like, it's wonderful. I'll play it for you after.
We got a couple things to catch up on Google after this
Sopranos,
talk.
Simpsons, double S.
Yeah, and then
the SS.
SS.
The SS. There we go. A tie back.
Brings it back.
Thanks for the bracelet, by the way.
You're welcome.
It's the Pit.
The other theater?
You remember the Pit?
I remember it. I would never set foot in. No, I'm kidding. Of course I remember the Pit.
It was a great spot.
Yeah. What does it say, though?
I don't know. It says SoloCom, which was like a festival. Where did you get this, by the way?
At the Pit. I did a improv show there when I went back in New York.
Who'd you do an improv show with?
Well, I was supposed to do a Dave Blood band. Very funny.
Oh, is this the thing where you like call theaters? Can we say what you do?
Oh, no. That's something I was just doing when I got crazy because it was like fun. I was like, oh, yeah, you can just like submit anything you want to a theater and see if they're interested. And so I was like making up shows and just submitting them to theaters. And
I've got a show called Oppenheimer Rewind. And it's basically from the moment of detonation above Hiroshima, we walk backwards in time to recreate that through the art of improvisation.
You were pitching improv shows?
No, I was pitching like everything. I was pitching like written shows that I hadn't written. And one theater came back and really wanted one of my ideas.
What was the idea?
I'm not gonna say it because I might still do it, but it was very funny because I called my friend and was just like, this thing doesn't exist, but they really want it. So if we were to like make something, anyways, if you're ever bored, just fuck with
an artistic director.
Yeah, why not?
They're not busy.
They're not looking out for us.
They're not. Artistic directors really are the man. When you think about it. In our world, they're like, they hold all this power.
Yeah.
In reality, they make $35,000 a year and have the worst life
for like
you could
90-hour work weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And they deal with insane theater owners and
just insane people. I mean, the worst people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody comes to like an improv theater because things are going great elsewhere. Like, it's not the first stop. Like, it's where there's been failure and you're like, I think they're gonna let me do stuff here.
Yeah,
that's the truth. That's like open mics too, same deal. It's just like there's a lot of people about to murder someone that, like,
especially in LA,
the last thing they do before.
No, LA open mics, there's legit.
Oh yeah, the home
I'm surprised I don't ever see a fight at open mics.
I've seen fights at open mics in New York, though. Have you seen them in L.A.?
No.
Like fist fights?
I've heard of one. But
Never at an open mic.
Yeah, I've seen people fight.
I've seen fights at a comedy show, but that could be anything.
Yeah, I almost got I was doing a show one time in New York where it almost got like violent. Yeah, there was a guy that was like drunk and screaming. When I said something to him, he like stood up like he was going to come on the stage. Yeah, it's like that happens.
I almost got in a fight now that I think about it once.
Yeah.
At an open mic, at a bar open mic, and the host was so drunk at the end. I got up like maybe last or something, and I was a real asshole to him about it.
Yeah, he just pissed.
Yeah, I was furious, and he got
there's
all
definitely
furious
I've
back,
definitely
and,
got on stage and been in a bad mood and
like
crossed the line with people,
Right.
and had that moment where I go, why did I just leave? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to wait. And
Yeah.
once you feel yourself getting that worked up, you just should get the fuck out of there.
You know what though? Like it's this point of I was younger. I agree, leave now, but there was this point of like this is part of the
pain.
The pain,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
Can
like
you
I
endure?
exactly, and
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Was the last, I couldn't, and it was a good lesson.
You could not endure. Did you endure?
Hey, what do you mean?
Like that's what like when you would have that feeling.
I
you would
totally
go like, yes.
definitely like you wait to go up, and then by the time you get up,
You
you're
ruin
so
your
mad
set, right.
that you like piss people off, or
Yep. Waste your time,
yeah,
like,
or just insult somebody who doesn't deserve it, and then you get off and feel terrible about yourself because you got zero laughs, and it was just like,
I've done
just
some
a
pretty
just an
terrible
awful
stuff.
awful play. I mean, everyone says things. If you, it would be interesting for people to be very honest about their open mic sets, because there are people. I feel like everyone has at least one or two open mics where they crossed a line because of how they were dealing with stuff emotionally.
One or two. If you've been doing
Yeah.
a bunch of mics,
Yeah.
or if you've been doing it for years, I would say you definitely have more than one or two.
Yeah.
Right?
And comics can make you so mad. Nothing makes you more mad than other comedians. They're just so
Just people like, I remember doing one at the Creek in the Cave, the downstairs one, where there was that couch on like the far, like if you're on stage on the far right, and somebody was just fucking talking so loud.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even know if they were a comic.
If they're a comic, that's
But
like
when I got, it's
that does make you want to fight.
and it's like the fucking 2-minute mic or whatever. I just got up, walked right over to him, and screamed, "Shut the fuck up," into the microphone. And that was it. Like, I didn't tell any jokes. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's also like you get to that breaking point where, like, I don't know if maybe this is just my anger, but like, I've gone up at open mics with no intention of telling a joke. Like, I'm going up to say how miserable this room was.
Yeah, I mean,
how
that's
mad
that's what you did.
how mad I am at everybody here, and then I'm
what
gonna
Andrew
fucking,
was saying was that. That's what I thought when
for,
you said
for the
that.
most part, yeah.
It's like
I
it's
tried,
like by the time
I tried doing material at the top, and
you
10
do,
seconds
you do
in,
half of a joke, and
and
your,
then I'm
your
like, "You
energy is up.
motherfuckers!" Yeah, and then you just lose it, and you snap.
You tell yourself, maybe if I do an A joke and it does well, that'll make me feel better.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
then,
like
and
you're
then I
already
win
in a
them
bad mood. You're not
over.
going to deliver a good joke.
No.
Yeah.
And it was bad. I was trying jokes out to begin with. Like,
It's so funny because it's
Bad
always it is 100%. You want to see the best show and you're an audience. Like there's a reason we tell you, like, just fake laugh and clap. Like, you want to see comedians be funny, they actually have to be having a good time. Angry comedians are rarely funny.
Right.
Angry comedians who are also having a good time
Right.
is very funny.
but that's like a shtick. That's a character or a shtick that
Well,
they're
it's like
doing.
they're angry about life, but they're also having a good time at the show.
Like the
and
Lewis
excited.
Black is having a great
Well, I
time
just
while
think
he's
a lot of
screaming.
I just think a lot of comedians in general, it's like if they're having a good time.
Stand up.
I got a little bit of that in me.
Angry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
just
got
a
some
little- just
anger
a
in
little
me.
Guys, we have a hard out. At
115.
yeah, we can't go past 115.
This is great.
Where can the good people of Podcast Hell find you? You do have you have a TikTok now.
Yeah, TikTok
Yeah.
and
Come on, man.
and Instagram.
Yeah.
And
Fucking right down the barrel, right there, Andrew. Give it to him.
You find me at Andrew Yurman Glaser. It's my last name. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That was an 8-year struggle. Glad we got you on board.
Yeah, I'm there now. Not going to post again for another 8 years. It's going to be awesome. Come join us for the ride.
You got fucking funny clips, man, on
Thanks.
TikTok.
Thank you.
I always throw them a heart.
Thank you.
Rob,
and it's much appreciated.
yeah.
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, all the socials under the Rob Stern, or if you just type Rob Stern into most socials, I'm usually one of the first to come up.
And check out Rob's podcast, The Rob Stern Show, which is really funny.
Very funny. Both Andrew and Eric are on
We
it.
have like 8 episodes between us, probably. No fewer than 8.
I've done a few.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for having us.
Later.